Hi, Julie. So I'm just playing you in with an apophyllite and grandmother alchemy bowl. And she wanted to come and play this evening. There is such a very unsettled energy that we're certainly experiencing here in the UK today, and I'm pretty sure that it's probably worldwide. It's a very unsettled, so it's quite a turbulent energy here. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Sheila. And it goes with the energy that is building towards this eclipse, which is at 5:44 tomorrow morning here in the UK. It's been cooking all week, so I don't know how you've all been faring, but I mean, several people I've spoken to have been A, extremely tired, and B, there's been stuff coming up. And you know, this place of the full moon and an eclipse on top of that, and the fact that it is the third eclipse in 5 weeks, is really helping us to bring to the surface anything that needs to be seen and that is ready to be released and cleared. So this is just the perfect time. Hi, Susan. It's just the perfect time to have that level of discomfort going and that level of inquiry actually as to what has completed its purpose, what has been cooking probably for the last 5 years actually, because the moon is at 13 degrees of Capricorn. It's the last one in a series of full moons in Capricorn, and then they won't come round again in this axis of Cancer Capricorn for another 8 years. But this is a place where, you know, depending on where Capricorn is in your natal chart, it's where the trigger pieces have been of the last couple of years. And this 13 degrees of Capricorn point was the point that Pluto went over 3 times in 2015. It is the place that Saturn went over in 2019, and it's the place that Jupiter went over earlier on this year. So it's a place where it's an active point, shall we say, that actually is coming round to show us another aspect of ourselves that is ready to be released. If this whole journey of this time is for us, especially this 2020, it is a year of alchemy. It is about transforming our stories, transforming those places where we're still holding sore spots, transforming them into gold, transforming them into the fuel, if you like, that is going to take us forward as we move into 2021. And it will be sort of probably February or March of 2021 before we really feel that we've got some traction out beyond the soup that we are in at the moment. But while we're in the soup, you know, what are we creating? What are we actively working with? Because part of this journey of lockdown or sheltering in place has been the opportunity to go into the cave and look and say, what have I got in the cave? What needs to be released so that there's more room? And also, what have I been incubating? What have I been exploring about myself that I can really nurture and nourish in order to take it out into the world when we move through this. And as I say, my sense is that it will be probably somewhere around February or March next year. So we are currently still in the cooking pot, and these 3 eclipses are like the squeeze contraction energies that bring us the sore spots, bring us the places of discomfort, in order that we can see what's still inside, what's still got some energy on it, where we still get we get charged, where or triggered, where, you know, and what it is that needs to be seen in order to be transmuted. Because this is our, as I say, this is our gold. This is the places where we can then really see that we've started to shift our magnetics, because the heart is our attractor factor. You know, this is our magnetic that enables us to attract people and experiences and opportunities into our life that are either going to be for our soul's evolution, i.e. they're bringing us, it could be a karmic relationship, for instance. It could be something that is a triggering relationship that is going to illuminate our scripts and our stories that are still residual. Or it could be, you know, a connection that is going to fast track us or help us along the way. What we do know is that we are moving from this age of Pisces, which has been a very singular journey. It's been about the solopreneur. It's about, you know, about the finding this pathway and doing it on my own. And we're moving into this age of Aquarius. And interestingly, the winter solstice this year with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is said to be, for many astrologers would be saying that this is one of the pulse points that takes us into this energy that is the signature of the age of Aquarius. So we're on this cusp, we're in this birth canal, if you like. And so birthing, as any mother knows, is you know, can be a bit of a messy business. And so that my sense is what we're seeing personally and what we're seeing as a collective. So this is intense, and, you know, there will be squeeze points, and this is what these eclipses gift us with. They gift us with the opportunity to start to feel uncomfortable about some aspect of our experience enough for us to pay attention. You know, it's like if there's something in the body that is needing to be attended to, so often, you know, we'll get niggles and we'll just ignore it, or we'll take some pain relief or whatever. And it's like now things are getting really noisy, and sometimes things have to get really noisy before we actually pay attention. The idea is that in our evolutionary cycle that we become our antennae become highly honed, so that we don't have to, struggle too much in actually picking up the threads of what the universal wisdom or our body wisdom is trying to get us to pay attention to. So, as I say, this full moon eclipse, 13 degrees of Capricorn at 5:44 tomorrow morning. So, you know, what is this time bringing for you? You know, what is coming up in this process? What is interesting is that, you know, there are 2 different schools of thought for eclipses. We in the West tend to be running out there to actually watch the eclipse, and actually the indigenous peoples will go indoors and light the fire. They will not want to be out in the energy of the light you know, being obscured. They prefer to keep themselves either hooded or go back indoors, so that they are not open to what they see as a portal of the shadow of humanity being active. And of course we see this, don't we? When eclipses come up, there is, and it's a full moon eclipse in particular, you know, it's where the word lunacy came from. So there are, and with the Mars energy very active at the moment, we are seeing a lot of anger, we're seeing a lot of trigger points, you know, in so many different aspects of our lives. So this is tricky time to navigate. And the more we come home, the more we can use the tools that we've got in our own tool bags to come back in home and to remember to breathe and to align. Many of you know I live in the New Forest, right, fairly well in the middle of the New Forest, actually, in a place where, you know, my neighbours are the horses and the animals that free range on the forest here in Hampshire. And it's, in some ways, it is just the perfect place to be sheltering in place, in order to be really surrounded by nature. Charlie, you've written something. I feel that you do whatever you feel is right, whatever your crystals and your tools are calling for. Each and every time it comes round, I tune in as to whether it's right, whether the alignment is right. It's not a carte blanche that my crystals go out, or I make essences on these full moon energies. I tune in as to what those crystals and tools are calling for. For me, I've got a fire going this evening, and actually this is the sort of time coming up when the energy's applying, when we're coming towards the zenith, we're coming into that full moon energy, is when the energies are most intense. So any release ceremonies would be very worthwhile. Yes, Charlie, you know, again, trust your intuition. Some of the moon, and you know, the moon, full and new moons really invite that, and they feel really positive. I'm not so sure that this moon, there's a lot of complex aspects to this moon, and I feel that it's more about us being really clear about what we are surrendering, what aspects of us that are past their sell-by date, that we don't really want to be going round this loop time and time and time again. And it would be really beautiful to write out an affirmation of release and be able to put that into a fire this evening. There's that real sense that we as a humanity are really needing to clear the shadow aspects that are really triggering and inflaming a lot of what's going on the planet. And there is this opportunity. The more of us that are awake, the more of us that are diligent in what we are working with as a collective, the lighter the load that we are working through. And it's big stuff. I mean, many people have been absolutely exhausted this week. Tiredness, overwhelm, And some of that is the fact that actually we are really waking up to the fact that life as we knew it absolutely doesn't exist. anymore. And it is, that can be a celebration, but it also can be a real challenge when we see that so many of our freedoms, so many of our ways of life and ways and choices have been curtailed, and we are facing a different reality. As I say, you know, I'm in a very not exactly isolated, but I'm not in the mainstream melee of a town or a city, and it's quite shocking for me when I go to the post office or I go to the local store, and you're faced with such a shift of an experience, because while I'm here, it could be life as normal, but it totally isn't when I get to the garage or I get to the supermarket, and there is so much fear. You see it etched in people's faces. And of course the mask conundrum is another thing as to whether that is a health positive thing or a health negative thing. And we're each having to find our way through. We're each having to find and navigate where we are with this, what our personal place is, how, where we are in that connection. And it's really interesting because it brings up a lot of stuff. So the opportunity to release some of this, these more challenging aspects, are all part of the gift, if you like, of these eclipses. And if we can work with them to harness what they can offer us, we're light beings, and we're here to travel light as light. So whatever comes up in the opportunity of releasing another aspect of something that perhaps doesn't help us going forward, this is the time. This is the time. And as I say, it brings a closure in a lot of ways to this cycle, and it brings a closure in what 13 degrees of Capricorn offers us in our charts. So this is powerful stuff. So shall we see what the other aspect to this, well, actually the positive aspect to this, is the fact that we have a lot of Mars energy. And although this is creating discord, is creating some extra fuel for the fire here, it's also activating a strong warrior energy within us. And so whatever we've been developing while we've been in the cave, while we have been social distancing, we can start to activate. And Mars is going to be in Aries for the next 6 months. It's going to retrograde in Aries from the beginning of September to the beginning of November. So it's in Aries for a long time, and that's its own house. So it's very comfortable in there, and it's about being able to see clearly a pathway forward. Hala. Yeah, we are actually Hala's written, we're coming face to face with what we must evolve from. And this is the case. This is about, what are we wanting to craft going forward? What is it? Who are you now? And what sort of future do you want to create? What is your vision? We're being called to be vision holders, visionaries for a new earth, for a new way of being, for holding this template of beauty, truth and love. If you're here to listen to the rose cards, the roses are a path of beauty, truth and love. It is a core aspect of what they offer us. And that is a reminder of the magic of nature. the absolute magic of our life here, the actual substance and the way that each one of us have this beautiful vehicle to journey in, and the mystery of that, the magic of that. And so in the blessing of the vehicle, you know, we have to find the way to be the best version of humanity. What is our highest vision for ourselves? And live from that as best we can on a daily basis. This is the opportunity of this time. So let's see what the roses have got to offer us as wisdom in this next phase. Because this journey from this full moon to the new moon in 14 days' time is a tricky passage. There will be a lot of agitation in the world, and it's what tools have you got to stay centered, and what tools have you got to tune in as to what your truth is in regard to that. So, hi Angelina. So, Master Rose 1, the Divine Masculine. So here we are, we're evolving slowly out of a society that has been mainly driven by an old patriarchal imprint. It's not aligned masculine, it's not divine masculine. It is, on the whole, a very distorted view of what masculine energy really offers us. And this weave, this dance between the masculine and the feminine, this is what lights the golden flame, right? This is when we come into this dance, when we come into this balance, this dynamic balance between masculine and feminine, whether that's within us or whether that's an external dance with another. What activates is a third energy, and within the body temple, this is the golden flame. This is the sacred presence within us that is the carrier wave of the light. You know, it is the purpose and the pathway of purification and aligning ourselves to our authentic truth. So when we look at this in its external presence right now, we can see that actually a lot of the indigo generation are beginning to come online. They are the ones that are activating at a more aligned and a more truthful level of the sacred masculine template in its highest form. They are evolving beyond manipulation and control, and then evolving beyond the need to be driven by money. So we are in a massive shake-up and a massive reawakening within each and every one of us of what that sacred masculine looks like and feels like, how it operates in the world. For even if we are in feminine form, we hold a divine masculine template within us that when we have cleared and aligned our own inner feminine wounding and stories, allows for our inner masculine template to activate in its truest form to support our inner feminine. So this is powerful medicine. This is a wonderful energy for us to be anchoring as we move into this full moon eclipse. Let's see what the second rose is. You know, you might want to look and tune in into the condition of your own internal masculine, because we know that the issues aren't out there. You know, they are actually, we need to bring them home. We need to bring them back in and find out where those energies are within us. Where's the discord? Where's the, you know, where do we feel supported or not? Where do we feel honoured or not? So let's see what else the roses have got to say. Rose my 11. I am protector. This rose carries a strong swan energy. And the swan, mates for life, is very loyal, very protective of the mate and very protective of their cygnets, of their chicks. This rose has a purity about her, and there is an aspect of her that says when you frequence to gold, when there is a purity, when there is an alignment within the heart, there is no need for external protection. That flame, that golden flame, once it's illuminated, when that masculine and feminine weave are in alignment within the body temple, what is natural in its expression is this essence of protection and protect her. The divine feminine is a fierce protector and protects her young, her children, her beloved, her community, her family. It's not the sole ownership of the masculine. You know, there's a very strong protective aspect to the feminine as well. But she's a beauty to work with. And as I say, has a strong connection to swan energy. So again, you know, what is needing? What's that calling? Let me just have a look, Judith. I can see you've written something. Oh, that's fascinating. This balance between the two, between these two energies, and how internally we support ourselves in our masculine and feminine balance is coming more and more as really vital in our alignment and balance. And of course the masculine thing is very much structure, and you're talking about an osteopath. So the structure, the bones, the bones are very Saturnian. So the structure is really important. And the last rose is rose 5. And rose 5 sits on the throat chakra. So she is calling us to speak. You know, this is truth. You know, it's not possible to stay hidden anymore. It's not possible to stay in that place of pleaser. Many of us know, you know, I have got a degree in pleasing. I've done that right from childhood to navigate the tricky energy and the dysfunction of my childhood, my birth family. And it's taken me years to actually have evolved beyond that habit of pleasing, because it got to the place where it was far too uncomfortable, you know. And when something comes and it's calling to be said, that there isn't really an option now. You know, and I'm sure this is not just for me. This is the place where we find that, you know, for some of us, you know, we are being called to be a voice, to pass messages on. For those of us that channel, for those of us that, you know, have connections with guides and mentors on the light realms, we're being called to be a voice for that. And often the message that has to be delivered can be life-changing. So we have no place in which we can be resistant to that now. We have to show up. We have to step forward to that path of mastery. Because actually, when we absolutely know whether, and a master knows when to speak and not to speak. So it's not the fact that we need to go bleh every time. It is about the fact that we need to be attuned enough to know when the right action is to speak and when the right action is silence. So this is, you know, a perfect energy for us to be working with these two others. I'm trying to put this on to get messages. Oh, good. Okay, I can only see the first parts of your messages, but clearly something about what's coming up this evening is resonating, which is wonderful. So, the divine masculine energy, absolutely calling to be honoured in right alignment within ourselves, but also in holding a vision. If we are vision holders, it is very much about the visioning of this new earth, visioning of a life and a way of being that resonates with the highest principles that we hold within our heart field. So this place of an evolved masculine energy on the planet, to hold that as a vision, hold that as a blessing, if you like, on this new moon, on this full moon, that the old is, you know, the old paradigm, the narcissistic and manipulative behaviors are seen for what they are, and that a new template can start to be birthed, would be a powerful, powerful way of working this full moon. I am protector. Knowing that when you are in your true power, when you are being authentic, when you are aligned to what you know within, you are a formidable protector for your children, for your family, for your grandchildren, and for your community. And, you know, also this is what allows for this golden heart field to be lit and radiant. And when the golden heart is lit, when the golden light body is activated, we need no external protection. Right? We don't need to run around putting protective grids around ourselves. The gold frequency is a protector in itself. And interestingly, this is something that is only generated within the human heart field. And it's one of the things that the ET races don't have the ability to generate within their own heart fields. They actually use gold and gold powder to fire the DNA in a slightly different way. Anyway, slightly off piece of information. And there we go with Rose 5. You can see she's got like a golden back to her petals. Very refined and defined, this rose. So it's about really clear expression, really clear expression of your truth, of your knowing, your wisdom, because it's actually, it's in the sharing that people, or the person that you're sharing with actually gets to know who you truly are. When we don't share, our energy is nebulous. It's not clear. And actually, when we're looking at who we attract into our field that is in resonance to, you know, the truth of who we are, then it's the words, it's what we speak that enables the other to really see who we are. This is powerful time to get really super clear. So 3 powerful energies to work with for this particular time. And I'm going to put them underneath this beautiful bowl that is apophyllite and grandmother alchemy. And she's beautiful. It's like being able to rest back into the grandmother's arms. Many of us had a particularly treasured relationship with our grandmothers. Mine was my maternal grandmother, whose name was Rosa Kate, and who was my original rose in my life and was the place of safety and of unconditional love in my childhood. So it's really appropriate for me, and I became a grandmother for the 3rd time again this year. So grandmother energy is something that I am very I feel very connected to. So there we go. There's our 3 roses. Divine Masculine, I Am Protector, and the throat chakra, speaking your truth, speaking with clarity. And what else have I got to tell you? I don't think I've got anything much else to tell you other than the fact that I've got a Rose Ma, the Mother of the Rose class starting in July. It's the 11 qualities of the awakened and empowered heart field that may resonate. And very soon I have got some beautiful rose heart anointing oils that will be on the website. They are just a first edition batch of Egyptian rose oils in beautiful golden mean cut glass bottles. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. There's quite a few of you on tonight, and I feel very blessed that you've joined me this evening. Don't forget to look and see if there's anything that you can release on paper into the alchemy of a fire, even if, or you can light a candle and, cast what you are wanting to release into the flame of the candle, and let whatever is needing to be release on the power of this eclipse. And as I say, we are light, and we need to travel light. We need to let go of anything that is now done its work and done its journey for us, so that we can be open to bring through this new imprint and be walking advocates of love. So bye for now. Bye bye. Love and rosy blessings. Bye bye.